Admiral's log. The war against the British has drawn to a close. Not with the conquest of new territories, but with a shrewd and pragmatic victory. Recognizing the limitations of our navy, I advised the government to forego territorial ambitions in favor of substantial financial reparations. The British, wary of our relentless harassment of their supply lines and eager to secure peace, acquiesced to our demands. Our war coffers are now replenished, filled with the gold that will fuel our next campaign. This victory, won through strategy rather than brute force, has strengthened our position and provided us the resources needed for the ultimate objective. With the British threat neutralized, my focus now turns to our primary target, France. The time has come to unleash the full might of our navy and the cunning of our strategies against them. Our alliance with Germany unfortunately has been broken. We will have to execute this maneuver against the French alone. The funds obtained from the British will be used to bolster our fleet, refine our tactics, advance our engineering, and ensure that our forces are prepared for the decisive engagements to come. This is the moment I have long awaited. The chance to reshape the destiny of Spain and carve my name into the annals of history. The French shall fall, and from their ashes, a new era for Spain will arise. Hey guys, Stealth here, welcome to episode 3. We are at war with the French. This is not a strictly very good development, because I'm not sure if I'm ready for this war. We'll just have to make do with the ships that we have, and make life on the French as difficult as we can make it. Now, this is going to mean probably the same strategy as I've done before. Harass them where we can. They have lots and lots of territory in Africa, which means that they will also have lots and lots to defend, which they might not be able to do. Seeing as let's say the ultimate campaign objective is the destruction of France, I'm going to try and take some territory off of them in, let's say here. Northern Algeria, Tunisia, they're not particularly rich provinces, but, well, anything is better than what I have right now with Spain, which is really quite limited. One very good thing that came out of the previous war, which has ended a few years ago, the one with the British, is Gibraltar. I'm now in control of Gibraltar, which means I control the Strait of Gibraltar, so no French ships are going to go in and out of the Mediterranean. Of course, they do have their own ports here, but we'll just have to see if they actually have ships there. Now, the French have quite a lot of ships. 24 DDs, a bunch of torpedo boats, 8 battleships. So, yeah, they're pretty fair game. They are pretty easy targets. As for the overall strategy, the Bay of Biscay is something where I cannot really project power because it's going to be too close to the French ports. North Atlantic is where the French don't even have any territory. The English Channel, well, they don't have anything there. So that's where I'm going to send at least, let's say, 2 DDs, just to harass some of the French shipping. We're going to go once again for the tactic of divide as much as possible and conquer whatever you can. It's not necessarily a great strategy, but based on the assets that I have, probably the only one I have. As for the battleships, we're going to go over to, I think Algeria. They only have a really low amount of ports, so we're going to go there. We're going to leave the Almirante over there. As for the rest of the ships, we have a couple of DDs here, we have a DD there. My main assets are 60 destroyers. The rest of the fleet is largely non-existent. Let's see, I have a couple of DDs here. I'm going to send 2 DDs to West Africa. Those DDs are going to intercept shipping over there. I have another DD that can do the same thing here in the West Indian Ocean. I should have another DD that can set sail all the way for Asia, because there's plenty of things to grab over in Asia. Let's see, where do they have assets? Over here. I think this is bordering Southeast Asia, so that's where the EO is going to go. And where is the French fleet currently located? Where can I expect them? They have 1 destroyer, which is heading all the way to East Asia. So that's not a threat. These guys are heading to the Western Mediterranean. Oh, they're going to go back to Marseille. They have a very substantial fleet, and based on what I have right now, this is probably not something I can beat. But if they're just going back to Marseille to park, that's fine. I don't mind that. I'll just take Algeria off their hands while they're busy. At least that's the plan. Can I invade them already? Yeah, no. That's a bit much. I cannot straightly go up and invade Western France. I'd love to, but the port of La Rochelle and Brest are a bit much to overcome at this current moment. As for building additional ships, I am building 2 of them, but they're not for me. Those are a couple of DDs, I think that the Danish just ordered. Yep, they want 2 of my DDs. That's fine. Time for our first encounter with the French. We have a convoy to protect. 10 of our transport ships are in very serious risk. They are getting attacked by a French light cruiser and 2 destroyers of theirs. Now, I have a couple of refits that I made to some of my destroyers. This is the Josh Miller, and she's been upgraded with a couple of 5-inch guns. These are 5-inch Mark IIIs. They are replacing some of the 3-inch guns. They still have 3.5-inch over there on the bow and on the stern, let's say on that barbette. Well, I guess the secondary tower. And of course, torpedo launchers. 18-inchers ranging 6.6. They can definitely lay waste to some, let's say, more sizable targets. I'm still not exactly enthusiastic about the torpedo's speed, however, 28.4 knots. We need better propulsion. Ideally, of course, when it's a light cruiser and a couple of DDs, I would send in my own light cruiser, maybe with a heavy cruiser, in order to guide these guys into their deaths. Unfortunately, I don't have heavy cruisers. Building a new heavy cruiser is going to be very difficult, because I don't have any good hulls, and I think my biggest bottleneck is engines. I don't have good engines. If you don't have those, most of your displacement is going to go right into your engine. You need a lot more horsepower per ton that you're producing, rather than these just basic engines that these things have. Steam multiple expansion engines. So I'm rapidly rushing towards geared steam engines, hopefully getting a couple more horsepower bits out of my engine, and as such freeing up more displacement for guns, armor, and other goodies. Now, where are the French at? Here we are. Here we are. They're heading away. Interesting. This light cruiser only has 8 4-inch guns. Hold on. Does that mean I outrange it? Four-inch guns. 4.9, 3.4, 6.1. Yes. I outrange it. Okay, that's good. We're going to try and keep this guy spotted. We're going to try and keep this guy shot at. And we're just going to slow down a touch, because I don't think that they were that fast. So let's see if those 5-inchers are able to punch a couple of holes in this cruiser. I'm not sure if AP is going to cut it. It's semi-ballistic. Your pen is lackluster. But hey, maybe we can get at least some damage in. Oh, they might have found a couple of shell splashes around them. Yeah, they're smoking up. Now, in the pre-battle screen, I saw that this light cruiser is doing about 19 knots. Their destroyers are doing 29 knots. So I suspect that the French, well, in some extent French tradition, are just running away. I know that's an old and inaccurate meme, but I suspect that the AI is not eager to fight this convoy. And that might mean I could just harass that light cruiser and eliminate it, paying absolutely no mind to their destroyers. I can't catch those, of course, not with my speed. Let's just see if we can at least get some damage in on this light cruiser. The only thing I gotta be careful with is my own aggression. If I push too close to this thing, it will start shooting back at me. If I try to torpedo this thing, it probably will mean I get to 6.6 kilometer range. Most likely less, which puts me in range of those guns. So it's a gun-only duel. It's pretty much what we're doing. Not all of these boys, however, have that particular gun. Pisswasser over here only has 3s. It's a very old destroyer, but it does have those additional torpedo launchers, which make this thing fairly useless at this point. Lista has it, and Angelus also has the 5-incher. But all we need now is range. Gotta dance around this thing without... damn it. Without exposing the ships too much to threats, because they can absolutely not take those hits. A couple of hits, or at least a couple of shots later, I've been able to destroy the torpedo launcher on the Fiore, sorry, the Flore. So, they don't have any torpedo capability anymore. Does make them well, even less potent. I mean, the 3.4s are definitely relatively longer barrels than the 4.1s. It's what the 4.1s are sawed off. My guns, 5-inchers, they're 39 caliber, so they're relatively long barrels. But I still am very eager to just keep upgrading the DDs. For this campaign, I don't think we're gonna have a lot of battleships, at least for the first, I don't know, 10 episodes. It's probably gonna be more of a hit-and-run destroyer campaign. Because that's, as far as I can tell right now, what Spain does best. Small wars, contained wars, things that don't go on for too long because you'll blow up your own economy. And with what I did with the British, I just took money off of them, not territory, because I couldn't defend territory. But seeing as my economy is so bad, I thought, just give me $500 million, and they did. I think that war ended with me getting 564 million off of them, which meant that I was able to keep my research, well, and my economy at large funded for a while. And as such, I didn't also have to defend any additional territory. Downside, my economy didn't grow. Which does mean that, in the long run, I can still have issues defeating the British, or at least, well, any other party, later. Now, for pens / hits, we're not really getting anywhere with high explosive, and these DDs don't carry a lot of ammo. In order not to have them get blown up, I used a reduced set of ammunition. So that's now kind of coming back to bite me, because I can't actually do much with high explosive. I'm not even sure if I can take this light cruiser down. I would love to take one of the destroyers down, because they were the same price tag as this guy, maybe even more expensive. My DDs are also fairly expensive at 8.7. But, at least my bill a little faster. Oh, there, damage to main gun. Yeah, my green level crews with Quinston's Rangefinder 1 are not having a good time landing hits here. Oh, we made it to 5.9 clicks. Even the 3.5s are pitching in. And there, the 3.4s are shooting right back. There it is. This is gonna take a while, isn't it? If I can even get this thing eliminated. Because we're just getting everything blocked. Oh, hold on. 4 belt pen. They don't have a whole lot of armor. Like 0.2. This is actually good, because it floods them out. Makes them even slower. 16.9 knots. And I'm running around at about 20, 23. Making sure that I can try and flank the target. Maybe getting some better shots. Look at that. The Josh Miller's almost out of ammo for the main guns. I need to adjust these DDs again. They don't carry enough ammo for a fight like this. They're supposed to be hit-and-run destroyers, so they're not really supposed to have a lot of ammo. But they're not supposed to run out of ammo like this either. I feel like this thing is just doing... Well, we're kind of chasing it around in circles. Yeah, if you look at the wake, they're slightly making a course correction to port. This is going to be a bit tedious. Well, a little later, we've actually gone and done it. We've sunk the Flore. So that's our first victory against the French. How about that? 1,300 victory points. Almost 1,400. That's a fairly low score. But hey, it's a start. It seems that the strategy of deploying just destroyers everywhere is already starting to pay off, at least a little bit. We're starting to see some losses to the French transport fleet. It's not likely going to be an instant effect, but, well, keep this up for a couple of months and the French will start to notice. Their logistics at the moment is 100%. This means that they're probably going to make some progress, although not that much. Yeah, they're not really getting anywhere. Not yet. Now we have an ambush. The question is, who's doing the ambushing? I think it's the destroyers. The enemy destroyers, that is, doing the ambushing. So we have a couple of their... Ooh, their speedies. 29.8 knots. These things are full of flaws, including the weapons. Weapon defects. This thing is actually built to spec. 7.3 million. Is this the same class? Yeah. 2 4-inch guns and 1.9 and 6 torpedo launchers. Now I have the Santa Maria de la Rosa. Hooded horse class heavy cruiser. We've seen these guys not do very well against enemy ships. Episode 2 saw one of these things get blown up pretty swiftly, simply because it couldn't turn away or run away from any kind of a torpedo attack. So I'm very interested to see if the enemy is actually going to be doing anything this time around. Last time around, those DDs just left. Let's see if they want to fight me this time. The French might not necessarily be willing to fight, which I kind of get. Although, against this particular cruiser with a cadet level of crew, they probably had a pretty decent chance. Nevertheless, they are picking their fights, much like I am. This is not going to be the French are retreating non-stop, don't worry about that. The French are picking their fights, and if they are picking fights that they can win with their battleship fleet, I'm going to be in trouble. So let's hope I can avoid that. So far, I have been able to pin down a fairly sizable French fleet here. They have a bunch of ship, battleship, battlecruiser, bunch of torpedo boats. I have exactly one destroyer over there, the Ulla. And the Ulla just, well, a couple times so far, she's been out there and she hasn't done much of anything. She has just been there. And every time I just pull retreat, and they go, yep, fine. And they tend to just keep the French fleet busy. So that works enough for me. Now, I'm hoping that this French fleet is going to be outside of the influence area of the area that I want to invade, which is northern Algeria. I need 15,000 tons. I have a bit more than that. I have 122. Hopefully we can take this and then Tunisia. That would still put me in the Western Mediterranean where I have my own fleet. So I'm guarding this territory either way. The same cannot be said strictly for the West Coast, because this is part of the Central Atlantic, and while I have a DD there, I don't exactly have a strong presence. The North Atlantic, for example, is a bit better defended. Still not spectacular, but, well, better. As for my research, I'm working on steam turbines. I really want to get better turbines, because what I have right now is pretty awful. These things are only generating 28 horsepower per ton. This is generating 70. Should allow for far faster DDs, which also have, hopefully, a bit more displacement available for goodies. This is problematic. The French have initiated a major offensive against southern Spain. I always wonder how they can just walk into southern Spain, but, well, the way that the map is divided, southern France can walk into southern Spain no problem. The rate at which they'll do this is probably pretty decent, which means that the French can fairly quickly conquer my territory if they so desire. So what I want to do is very quickly get this thing conquered. This means actually having the fleet over at Algiers, not Mers El Kebir. Keeping the French fleet busy over here, like this ambush. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be taking down a couple of torpedo boats, and they're 3 billion, sorry, well, not 3 billion, that would be a very expensive boat. They're 3 million a pop. Let's see if they want to fight me this time, because if I can take a couple of these down, that would help. I feel like overall the strategy right now should be very straightforward. Keep the enemy busy, get a couple of quick kills on cheap targets, such as this thing. That way, be able to get at least some victory points, forcing the French to go into a peace treaty when I want it. Because by doing that, I hope to get at least some territory back, and be able to get maybe a bit of money and potentially some more territory through the peace treaty, without losing any territory of my own. I could, if I really wanted to, try to claim some of their territory, and maybe get a battleship to go with it, but I don't think I can afford to run battleships, because they're simply too expensive. These DDs, they cost me 8.5 million a pop, which isn't that bad. I can afford that. Especially the maintenance cost is something that I'm worried about. If ships get too expensive, especially with maintenance, and that starts to ramp up, like having a bunch of battleships, you'll just quickly find yourself out of money. So that's something I'm trying to prevent. Now, unfortunately, it looks like the Jukar over here is fairly new to the fleet. He is set to green level of crew training. I suspect that I'm not the only one throwing torpedoes into the water. Ow. Seriously, the moment that these things get hit, they start flooding. Maybe they didn't torque me yet. Seeing as I don't have a hydrophone, I can't exactly tell. Yeah, there it is. Better safe than sorry approach worked again. At this point, I think they're just gonna run away. which arguably is not a bad decision. They've done some damage. I have not done anything to their ships, so yeah, running away, probably the safe bet for them. Although 9% structural damage on a DD, I think it's what, 1 month of repairs, and we'll be right back into the fight. But let's see if they want to chase me. I don't think they will. Ideally, I'd hunt these things down. They got 4.2-inch guns, which can pin about 1.5 inches of armor. Their armor quality is disastrous, so if I can chase these things down, I need something about 32 knots with a few guns on it. I'm not going to build a DD specifically to counter this particular threat. I don't think that's worth my time. It's too niche of a ship. Like, I could have a DD with 2-inch guns, perfectly designed to take down a torpedo boat. The problem is that torpedo boats at some point become extinct. They don't exist anymore. And as they don't exist, it's pretty straightforward. Your ships are going to go redundant very, very quickly. Which I don't want. Hold on, did you destroy my gun? Ugh, they took out the 5-incher. Okay, fine. Once again, the French have picked their fights. Let's see if we can pick ours. Next fight. Are the French going to stay and fight? Let's see. They have a couple of destroyers around, and immediately they're laying down smoke. They're about 5 clicks out, and I'm not so sure if they're there to deploy torps as well. So my Sun 1 heavy cruiser and the Angelus, they're going to have to be a bit careful and potentially dance around torpedoes. Now you can definitely see that this is a very aggressive smokescreen. And unfortunately, it's also a fast smokescreen. I really need those better engines installed on all of my DDs, because I can't catch these. They're doing 29 something, and that's just too fast. The Angelus, even at 28 knots, is going to have a very difficult time catching up to it. There you go. One hit from the 5-incher, penned the ship. Probably cutting its speed in half. I'll take it. Now I'm going to catch you. Oh, she went down. Perfect. Pick our fights. Be out our way. Thank you. I just took 1 DD off of their fleet. But what a DD. The Jaguar. This ship cost them 7.3 million, so about the same as a light cruiser. Which means we're not going to be getting any phenomenal values of light cruiser, or sorry, of victory points for them. But hey, every bit is a little bit when you're fighting something that's about 10 times your size. 1,338 victory points. I'll take it. It's going to be a very long war at this rate. Because, well, for 2,500 victory points or something in that range, they'll not quickly go to peace, if at all. Like, they don't really care about that. That's fine. There are plenty more fights to have. Because there is another convoy. Yours or mine? Mine. Again, DDs. Alright, gentlemen. Bring it out. Take it out. And just get another 1,300 victory points. No fights were had, no shots were exchanged, nothing. Once again, the French decided not to fight the convoy. Maybe they were a bit shaken after they heard what happened to the Jaguar. Fair point. I would gladly sink more of these French destroyers, because they, like my destroyers, are harassing the enemy. So we'll have to get rid of those. Anyway, at this point, I should have better engines. Steam turbines. Let's get those mounted on our ships. Start with Fishburns. These guys are using those new 5-inch guns, and hopefully they'll not get terribly expensive. I don't mind if they go to about 10 million or so, but any more than that, it's going to be a bit more problematic. 9 million, there we go. And we're freeing up a lot of displacement. Look at that. I mean, relatively, for a DD. Can we do 30? Oh, we can do 30. 10 million. Can we do 31? Yes, 10 million and a half, it's fine. Let's install better rangefinders. Let's up their... Well, we can't really up their armor more. Install better turret rotation systems. Better TNT. No, I haven't researched that yet. Standard capacity shells. I don't want to ever run out of ammo again. Armor, no upgrades there. Maybe I can get a double hull bottom if I keep it at 30. Yes! A double hull bottom gives you a bit of resistance. And also some less torpedo damage, which... Well, a DD can always use that. As for the rest, I think I have all the stuff I want. I have very good engine efficiency. I have the steering that I want. I'm going to stick to my semi-ballistic shells, which are heavy shells. I might elongate the barrels by like 5%. Yeah, not bad. Gives me a bit better accuracy. So hopefully I'll be able to take those threats down at some slightly better efficiency rather than just hoping you hit something. These 3.5s now have a range of 5.9. Effectively, I'd say 2.5 looking at their accuracy. So they'll still have to get fairly close to the target. I think this is a pretty decent upgrade for the Fishburns. They only take 1 month, and that's something I really appreciate about DDs. You can refit them so fast. Now that's one of the classes. I also have the David Titus. This is the older class. They're smaller. They're only 600 tons. So they will also benefit from that new engine and potentially also benefit from a new gun. Let's also install the 5-incher on those. Let's make sure that they get the better rangefinder. As for turret... Wow, turret rotation was awful. Electrical. They already have max armor. That's fine. This is good. TNT, reduced shells, make that standard complement. Flash fire chance is 9%, but I only got 1 gun, so yeah, if they hit it, they hit it. Speed. Fine. I'll scrap some of the armor off the main deck. There you go. Okay. Better. Better. Let's get these guys refit. And that should make them far more potent. Well, maybe far is overreaching, but a bit more potent. Sometimes when I'm playing Dreadnoughts, it's almost like being back in Fallout 4. Another convoy needs your help. Here, let me mark it on your map. I have 2 heavy cruisers, the Santa Maria della Rosa and the Sun 1. There's a significant difference between these two. Sun 1 is mine. Santa Maria della Rosa is not. And you can definitely see this, that the crew training is poor. They are only cadets. I also have the gearing. This is one of those newer destroyers with the improved engines, the 5-inch guns. They're going up against a French heavy cruiser. So for once, the French can't actually run away. Because this cruiser only does 19 knots. It is a bit of a tumble home hotel style French ship. Very serious guns in there. 10-inch guns, but they're only grade 2. So with that, I'm not that concerned about them. What I'm going to have my DD do is harass it with its 5-inch guns, potentially drop some torps into the water, which it can now do at 6.6 kilometers out. And with that, it should keep the French busy at least a little bit. Ideally, a little bit of flooding is going to cause that thing to start getting a list. Oh, hello, there's their DD. It's going to force that thing to have a list, so it's going to be unable to bring at least most of its firepower to bear. The secondary guns on this ship are a bunch of 2-inch and 5-inch and another 18 2-inchers. But, you know, it's 2-inchers. They're only going to hit out to 5 clicks. I'm not that concerned. And yes, it also comes with torpedoes. What we have here is one of those French ships. Very interesting design, actually, this one. It's... Let me get that wave out of the way. It's torps, 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 gun. Right? So it's a pure torpedo build. But it can't outshoot anything for the life of it. Because its gun is on the back. Which is very good news for the gearing. And my heavy cruisers are probably less happy with that news. Because they are going to have to dodge a lot of torpedoes. Unless gearing attracts them first. Which is kind of what I'm hoping for. So I'm going to kite this ship. Hoping to make it a bit annoying for that destroyer slash torpedo boat unit to evade. While also bringing as many guns as possible from the Santa Maria and the Sun 1 to bear. So that we can get rid of this thing. Because I don't like it. Not this close to my cruisers. At all. That's a good hit. That was good. Thank you, Gary. Range, 5 kilometers on the torps. I think that torpedo-wise, I definitely have some really decent tech. Everything else is fairly lackluster. Oh, they already torpedoed the heavy cruiser. Split up. You're going to turn that way. You're going to turn this way. This thing needs to go down right now. 7 million. It's another, I don't know, 1,300 victory points or so. We're very far away from the campaign that I just completed, where you just get like 4,000 victory points for a DD. Let alone battleships where you can get over 100,000 100,000 victory points for a complete fight. Now, my 9-inch guns are Mark II, so like theirs, they're not great. The reason for this is I have not refit any of these ships at all. That was very, very bad. This thing's 26 million. It'll probably sink. That is not good. The Admiral, 48 million? Holy crap, Frenchies. It's got no armor, but its armor quality is really good. What you got there? Group 1? Yeah. Anti-torp 1, single bulkhead, single hull bottom. Many bulkheads, spacious crew quarters. Alright. Pretty much as you would expect it. Set torpedoes to save. This thing's probably going to have a very good turning circle because it is not fast. Well, 564 is not that spectacular. Okay. Okay, gearing. Let's do some work here. Don't get closer than 5 clicks because you will get eaten up. Drop the torps. Disengage. Harass them with the 5-inchers. That flooding is not looking too good. I think the Admiral is very focused on dealing with my heavy cruiser here. So hopefully it'll not pay too much attention to those torps. This is just one big torp blob. I don't like this. I'd rather have them fan out a bit more. More chances to actually hit something. Gearing, disengage. Don't try and fight this thing too much. Yeah, this is starting to add up. It's the 5-inch guns that are just making a mess of my ship. I need to get outside of, let's say, 8-kilometer range. With a damaged steering installation, that's proving a bit more difficult than I'd like. Oh, you dodged all of it? It almost seemed like it passed underneath the ship. Santa Maria, you might not have that much fighting power, but I can't just have you run away. I do kind of expect that the Admiral is going to kill both of the heavy cruisers and the whole convoy. So we need to act right now. It does not have any armor. So we're going to punch this thing with high explosive. The only thing where it has armor is the main belt, I think. 4 inches. It's largely glass cannon. Come on. Survive. Because if I lose this ship, I will lose all the progress that I made victory points wise, and I'd hate that. No. Probably also... Ow! That's another 10-incher. I'm probably gonna lose this ship to torpedoes, if not flooding outright. Come on, 23% chance to hit. I do expect a result. Thank you. That's at least something. I'm never gonna be able to sustain hits from a 10-inch gun. Completely untenable. Oh, there's their torpedo. Go on. You might have cadets, but even at this range, cadets can hit something. Over pen with high... No, with AP. With high explosive. I was wondering about that. The gearing has been reloaded. A bit far outside of the fight, but I couldn't really use torpedoes here even if I wanted to. It's too dangerous. I'll likely hit my own ships. Sun 1 is taking this beating like a champ, but I suspect that'll end fairly soon. Oh, conning tower destroyed. No, damaged. Well, that's progress. Keep pushing this thing. Those 3-inchers with AP, they should go through. Kill it with fire. And armor piercing. Yeah, that's not exactly what I was hoping for. I need more damage than that. Crew loss, 5%. Torp on the Sun 1. Second torp inbound. Sun 1's done for. Definitely not a case of Sun 1 triumphant. Yeah, more flooding on the Admiral. Oh, you're gonna put your 10-inchers on my ship now. I don't like that one bit. The more flooding we can get, the better. Yeah, she's tilting. 45%. Come on, cadets. You'll get promoted if you survive, and especially if you kill this thing. More flooding on her, yes, thank you very much. Gearing, what's your speed? Ow! That's half the Santa Maria done in one hit. Gearing, get your butt over here. secondary guns are nicely chewing through the whole convoy. Come on. Come on. Punch it. Missed it. All of it. Santa Maria's gonna flood. Oh, damn it. One heavy cruiser doing all this. One heavy cruiser. That's no. Welcome to Spain is Pain campaign. Maybe that should be the name of the playlist for this one. Spain is Pain campaign. How about that? Wait, you're not dead? Oh, you're in the progress of getting dead. You can you can take some damage, I'll grant you that. Okay. But the good news is, the Admiral is slow. The good news is, she's half flooded. The bad news is, she's gonna start munching on my convoy right now. Probably won't be able to catch all of them, though. Because this thing is gonna be doing, yeah, almost no speed at all. Especially if she's turning. Good. Maybe we can still inflict some damage with the, well, half-flooded gearing. And seeing as I don't have any transports in the way, should be relatively safe to use torpedoes now. Safer than it was. Oh, my crew's gonna surrender to the French. There we go. Cadarso also looking at very bad crew losses. Come on, I want to munch on one of the French convoys. Shall we do that? As opposed to just taking hit after hit after hit from the French. I want to be the one fighting them. Pushing back against their convoys. Good accuracy gearing. I like it. Use armor piercing. At this rate, we just need to get a couple of hits, and they will flood. Smoke yourself up. I don't mind reducing a bit of accuracy. Oh god, that's not what I had planned. No. Drop the damn torps. Because it might be the last thing you get to do. A really bad spread, but hey, if it gets one hit amidships there, that ship's done for. One torp decided to end the party early. Maybe. Maybe. Oh, the gearing sunk! No! And they just... Oh, well. No, it's just one compartment. They'll survive that. Okay, that was a really bad fight. 16,000? Fucking what? 16k? I mean, yeah, they sunk 2 of my cruisers and a destroyer, but 16? I was winning this war. And now look at where I am. Oh, look at that. I had 6,500 versus like 100 something, and now they got 16k. Fuck. Well, I might still be able to get Algiers. Algeria. And after that, I can't go to peace with them yet. Because if they do, or rather, if I do, we're going to have to pay a lot of money to the French. And I refuse to do that. So join me next time to see how I'm going to try and resolve this situation. If you want to get your name on a destroyer, which is most likely what it'll be, become a subscriber, become a Patreon member at the NCO tier, or hit the join button and become a YouTube member. That way you can get your name attached to a ship, and I might see you out there in combat. Thank you for watching, hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon for more.